O Clavis David, O key of David, O royal power of Israel, controlling at your will the gate of heaven. Come, break down the prison walls of death for those who dwell in darkness and the shadow of death, and lead your captive people into freedom. O Clavis David, O key of David, the fourth of our O Antiphons for this December the 20th. In the third of the antiphons, we were directed towards Jesse, the father of David, and the idea of that genealogy of the whole human race in a certain sense to which Jesus belongs. Now we focus more on the great figure of King David, perhaps the greatest figure after Moses in the Old Testament. David, the king who brought peace to the children of Israel, who brought unity to the kingdom, and prepared for the building of the temple under his son Solomon. The prophecy of Isaiah in chapter 22 speaks of the key of David, the key that will be given to the Messiah, the one who will open the gates of heaven, the one who will unlock that door that allows us to pass through death to life. In the ancient world, the key had an even greater significance than it does for us today. Keys are always important, but the idea of the kingdom, the keys to the kingdom, was a very powerful one in ancient Israel. And it would be the son of David, the Messiah, who would be given that key, not to open the gates of the city, not just to the royal palace, but to the gate of heaven itself, who would allow those trapped, as it were, in the prison of death to be released. He would have the keys to the kingdom. Now for us, this invocation of the Clavis David, the key of David, has a resonance that takes us really from the time of David and before, right through to the gospel and even till today. When we think of the keys, when we think of the keys to the kingdom of heaven, we think of Jesus speaking to Peter and the apostles, right? To you I will give the keys of the kingdom of heaven. To the apostles, to Peter, he says, whatever you bind shall be bound, whatever you loose shall be loosed. To you will be given the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And so that image of the key takes us back to the time of David. Isaiah gives us that image, applying it to the coming of the Messiah. Jesus uses the image of the keys in establishing his church, giving them to Peter and to the apostles. And today, we see in that same church the mission of the keys, the power of the keys continuing in the apostolic succession, right up until our own day in Pope Francis. The keys, the key to life, we might say, the key to life over death, the key to the kingdom. We want to know who is the one who has the key. The prophet Isaiah tells us it will be the one who comes, that son of David. Jesus is not shy about using that title, applying that title to himself. He is the son of David, the one who has the keys to the kingdom of heaven. O Clavis David, O key of David, O royal power of Israel, controlling at your will the gate of heaven. Come, break down the prison walls of death for those who dwell in darkness and the shadow of death, and lead your captive people into freedom.